Now I want to walk you through the basics of OAuth2 and OpenID Connect. I will not go into the details of that, but I want you to understand and get a brief overview. Let's first start with the definition of OAuth2. OAuth2 is an open protocol to allow secure authorization in a simple and standard method from web, mobile, and desktop application. Few things that highlight in the definition is OAuth2 deals with authorization. OAuth2 works with an access token, and client application can use that token to access API or endpoints. OAuth2 also defines how an application can securely get such a token from any token service. So in other words, it will define how a client can achieve authorization. And the standard also defines how to use the endpoints in different type of application. So the identity provider should implement the standards that are defined by OAuth2. One thing that you should remember here is with OAuth2, the access token that we receive will only be used to access an API or a resource. They cannot be used to sign in into a client application, because if that is used for sign in, then it is authentication and not authorization. So with OAuth2, we are only halfway there. OpenID Connect is the last piece of the puzzle. OpenID Connect is a simple identity layer on top of OAuth2 protocol. It basically extends OAuth2. With OpenID Connect, an application can receive identity token next to an access token if it needs one. This identity token then can be used to sign in to an application, while that same application uses access token to access an API. So basically with OpenID Connect, we will get both authentication and authorization. Then it also defines an additional endpoint that can be used by an application to get additional user information. This can be information that are not provided by default, and you can customize that. It defines how different types of client application can safely get these tokens from the secure token service. OpenID Connect is the superior protocol. It extends and supersedes OAuth2. So that gives you a 10,000-feet overview of OAuth2 and OpenID Connect. Let's take a quick look at how OpenID Connect works. Here we have a client, and then we will have an identity provider. Client is the application that requires a user identity. A request is created by the client application, which redirects the user through the identity provider. Here the user tries to prove who he or she is by providing a username and password. If everything is valid, the identity provider creates an identity token, signs it, and returns it to the client. Such an identity token can be seen as a token that contains a user's verifiable identity. When the client application receives that identity token, it validates that. If the validation checks out, the client application now has a proof of identity. This identity token is used to create a claims identity, which in most cases is stored as an authentication inside an encrypted cookie. The browser will then send this cookie on each request to prove the user's identity. This is a high-level picture. Now OpenID Connect is built on top of OAuth2, and it is designed to work for various types of applications, because of which we can do lots of customization to allow different grants, resources, which will also help with the authorization. So this is just a brief overview of how the client works with the identity server. Let's continue in the next video.